you can do here and now, and we will see if they're going to be able to do that. And the analyst is talking about trying to shut down Chovy as a way to limit the effectiveness of Pyosik. I do think that is true, but we have seen DRX can play through a lot of lanes, and you can have those advantages bleeding into the jungle too. You know, earlier in the day, we saw what Doran did to Solo with the help of Chovy and Pyosik, being able to get up there, being able to snowball that game incredibly quickly against FlyQuest, and a similar thing could happen here against UOL if they are not careful, because this team really does have threats in all three lanes.
DRX looked fierce in that game one today. Let's see if they can keep it up with Blitzcrank and Swain both being banned away here. What will that third and final ban be? Kalista is the choice here, keeping that one away from Gadget, as 2 jungle bans have already come through for UOL, with Kindred and Nidalee both being removed.
Yeah, so they are going to target Pyosik, you know, not going to be looking to shut down Chovy as a way to influence that jungle matchup. But we'll see if UOL is going to triple ban him or if they have anything else. You know, a lot of discussion happening around this last ban here.
Graves and Lilia are both still up. So, yeah, TF instead.
Lucian also available, right? So, you know, if you are DRX, there is the possibility of going towards that Lucian first pick. It has been highly prized. Chovy can definitely play it if they want to go that route. With UOL, you know, they are a pretty clever team in draft, so of course they would be expecting that is an opportunity. So perhaps DRX don't want to grab that Lucian just because they don't want to fall into any sort of a trap, any sort of a difficult matchup that could be counterpicked. This does, of course, leave that Lucian open, though, for Nomance. He will be going back to it. But again, it is him blind picking it just as he had to do against Knight. It did not go well against Knight whatsoever in that laning phase, or really even in the team fights later on, as they were too far behind at that point for him to really contribute much. And we'll see what the option will be here from Chovy.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these 2 matchups back-to-back for Unicorns of Love, Nomance has his work cut out for him, man. He had to play against
Chovy and Knight, you know, no big deal.
First he has to play against the guy that most people consider the best mid laner in the world on his signature champion, and now he has to play against one of the other guys in that conversation on an Orianna. So we'll see how he's able to deal with that one in the 1v1 in that lane matchup. It is Graves, it is Caitlyn locked in for DRX. Unicorns of Love currently with 2 out of 2 run-back champions from the previous game, and Boss will get to go on that Camille.
So he is going on the Camille. There isn't parity in the picks. I will be worried for Gadget and Santis, who did just get abused, because now you can ban out some of those matchups against Caitlyn that can be effective. If you're worried about AD, you can ban Ashe Jhin here and try to really bully that lane. Of course, Gadget can go towards some of those AP picks, but I do think Caitlyn does very well in that because you outrange so many of them very heavily. You can push, you can take plates. And on the other side, I do think it's going to be probably a Jax ban here if you want to try to protect that Camille. Renekton's already been taken out, so I think that would be the logical next ban. Ashe gone there for DRX, so they probably will go the Jhin route and try to secure the advantage on opposite sides of the map. There is the possibility of Dorian still going towards, you know, aggressive picks. There are things that you can go towards, like even that Jace if they want to, but you don't have to. You can go and just take a tank matchup. Something like a Shen can be very effective against the Camille. You can actually win out in that 1v1 for quite some time. And Lux as the ban, so they are more concerned about the Caitlyn Lux combo than the Jax, so that is now actually still open, and I would love to see if Doran would have the confidence to bring that out. He did not play Jax in the LCK that I can see, but it is an incredible matchup in that 1v1, so easy to play when Camille hookshots forward. You just pop the Counter-Strike, allow that to run, can't get any follow-up auto attacks during that, and if Camille stays around, you simply stun back. You win the 1v1 in the later stages of the game as well. So it is really, really difficult for Camille to get anything done in that lane, but your team has to play around that split push playstyle. We know that they can do that with the Jace, as they showed earlier, but they don't have to necessarily go towards that, and I think the thought here, if you go Ornn, is that you want to be able to play towards the other side of the map. You want to be able to play towards a pushing bot lane with Deft and Keria. You grab this Caitlyn, you grab a range support, you try to slam that 2v2, and you have Doran playing the weak side of the map, knowing that he's going to be very valuable come team fight time.
Lulu locked in for DRX. Unicorns of Love now for the second game in a row.
Probably engage.
Will have to deal with that Lulu, and thinking about Rakan as the
Rakan or
answer
Nautilus could work. I mean, he could go towards the Thresh if he wants, but I think they're going to want some sort of point and click kind of guaranteed engage, something more than the Thresh. Because they don't really have much of that. If you're going the Bard route, you can try to set up with the ultimate, but I think Nautilus makes a lot more sense here, given that they don't really have any go buttons with their comp right now besides just that Camille ultimate, but you need some sort of frontline dive buddy alongside that Camille, usually for the Camille to be effective. So it is going to be the Ziggs plus Nautilus bottom lane. We just saw them run this last game against top. It did not go well. It was against the Lulu support. This is a different marksman, but it is, again, a lane bully here. So I am concerned for UOL, but hopefully for them, they don't take a bad early trade as they did in that last one, because Santos losing his flash as well as both his health potions at level 1 really did set them back a lot. And the lane kind of snowballed from there. So they can't afford to make those types of mistakes against Deft and Keria, who are one of the best performing bottom lanes in this tournament and really can blow you out if you give them an inch.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because that's something I wanted to mention as well. During the pause of the last game, we talked about how League of Legends is difficult when you're playing up against a team that it is such high caliber like this. Not only is there the pressure of, well, can we stay on even footing with them? It's if you even start to slip, all of a sudden you're tumbling down the side of the mountain and there's no way to stabilize. They cannot afford those kind of mistakes if they want to be able to have a chance in this one. You can see here everything on your screen. We got Graves with the fleet footwork this time around. Often we do see Graves with a phase rush, so a little bit of a change there. Also in the mid lane, Orianna with phase rush. Sometimes you will see a different keystone on her, but this time around it will be that. Everything else looks pretty par for the course.
I think given that there's quite a bit of range over on UOL, I think that's why we're seeing the fleet footwork here. You know, going up against the Lilia, the Lucian, the Ziggs. It's a lot of champions that you're not really like kiting out of.
Right.
So I think the thought process here is the additional health on the clear is always nice. And if you're getting poked, say, by that Ziggs or even the Lilia with the Swirl Seeds as well as those Qs, you can deal with that quite comfortably also. It's going to make things like the Dragon solos a lot easier there too for Pioshik. So we'll see how he does want to try to play this out. But a nice early ward over that Dragon Pit is going to spot him trying to set up a split map here. So he is clearly playing towards this. But you can see Anonasik has full knowledge, crossing 2 wards there. And he's already on the opposing team's blue. So with that knowledge, Anonasik should just do a full clear on this blue side. Take away all 3 of those camps and try to get as much of an advantage as he possibly can. But it's going to be up to Santos and Gadget to survive now in what will very clearly be a weak side.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see...
I don't really like this.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see Anonasik falling back from this.
Yeah.
Both of his solo lanes have priority, but he chooses instead to go back to his own bottom side jungle, and they want to collapse on Pioshik here as No Man's has moved forward. They're looking to follow up on this. Pioshik down to 100 HP, and the Unicorns of Love will find that first blood.
Nicely done. I mean, they go for the high-risk, high-reward play. It does pay off. So to their credit, you know, it's a less reliable play than just full clearing on that blue side, which is kind of what I expected him to do. But because they actually got there in time, he didn't even finish the Gromp. The Gromp actually leashed, and they killed him. That is such a good start now here for Anonasik. So going for that risky play, I think it can make sense, you know, when you are the underdogs in a game like this. And to their credit, they saw that angle for the play. They made it pay off, and we'll see if Anonasik can get something done here this game now with a very healthy advantage.
Yeah, having that jungler with a lead like that in the Lilia versus Graves matchup can prevent one of those tragic situations like we saw last game where Graves just has the freedom to do whatever he wants in the jungle throughout the game. Now, Pioshik will still be able to grab himself one of the Scuttle Crabs here on the top side, so it's not like he's getting too crabbed or anything. And remember that Anonasik started on his chicken camp and then immediately moved to the enemy blue. So his red is still up. And now Pioshik is not going to miss out on any opportunity to do some counter jungling. He's already in the enemy jungle taking the Krugs. He put the ward down on the red buff. And we'll see if these two get into any more PvP combat here as the Lilia does enter into that top side of the jungle.
They have knowledge now of where that Lilia is, so we'll see if they want to make any sort of a collapse on him, or if he just wants to take the Krugs and then maybe pressure Boss, knowing that Boss is not going to be counter-ganked for, right? You know, Anonasik now sees that he has been spotted, but he wants to finish this off, and Pioshik just looking for the recall. I feel like they could have put a little bit of pressure on Boss and then maybe just go back towards your Gromp, which has spawned on that side of the map, then look for a recall, because it feels like a really low-risk play when you know that Lilia is actually already at the red. You're behind the Camille. Try to set that Camille back a little bit, but won't beat the call.
Ooh, nice engage there from Santos, making sure they get a good trade onto Keria. This is what we wanted to see in the previous game, right? This is what you were talking about. Nautilus threatens to all in. He threatens that big damage potential onto a squishier target like the Lulu. And when you do manage to catch her out, you can do some serious hurting on that health bar. However, look at the farm comparison. Yes, I know there's a large wave colliding with the turret, but Deft and Keria will do what they can to prevent the Ziggs from farming up well. 32 to 40, already more than a full wave of advantage for DRX bot.
Yep, and because they're not basing on a cannon wave, yes, Gadget has TP, but Deft is going to be able to get a very easy recall back. He is not going to be at any sort of a disadvantage not having that teleport. You know, if you don't have TP, it's punishing if you're the one getting pushed in, but when you're the one with the push, it is not risky at all, and that is the flash down from Santos. Only gets the 90 caliber net out of Deft, so not really getting anything, but at the very least, they will be able to secure this dragon here for themselves on that recall.
Yep.
So that is nice to be able to see Anonymous expanding this advantage from that early kill he grabbed.
First Drake over to Unicorns of Love very early into this game, 5.5 minutes in. Means if they can keep this stack up, there could be a potential for an early soul. However, that will involve them staying ahead of DRX. Chovy now hitting level 6. Stopping No Man's back in that last second of the recall will delay his timing and make it a little bit less fortuitous for him. Definitely going to have to spin the teleport to get back here and make sure he doesn't lose any tempo in this lane.
Yeah, you will say, this game is looking so much better for UOL, right? You know, yes, the gold is even, despite the fact that they had first blood, but this is a much more competitive game, you know, less mistakes that have been really kind of capitalized on. Yes, Santos did blow his flash, but it was much later and it was in an aggressive posture. Their lane has held up quite well. We can see that the teleport was used there for Gadget, and he actually based again afterwards, having used it. So, you know, went back for another reset, trying to keep that mana high, and as a result, he'll be able to keep farming pretty effectively here. Boss having some troubles up on that top side, and we'll see if he's able to really get much done, but it's pretty tough because the map got split. And it was in such a way where, you know, we saw Lilia did not end up staying on that side. So he has been kind of at risk of having that Graves behind him a few times. You know, we saw Graves taking away the Krugs, and Boss has to play with respect to that, which makes it tough to really push and get any sort of advantage.
Yeah, but a 2-wave lead early on.
It's a lot.
Ornn over a Camille, especially like as a split pusher into an Ornn, if you fall too far behind the line that Ornn is setting for you, you're never going to be able to do any damage to him. If he hits that level 13 point and he's got that Enchanted Sunfire Cape plus Enchanted Abyssal Mask, all of a sudden you're trying to use scissors to cut up a 50-pound meatball, and it's not going to do anything. He just sits there, laughs about it. If you try to make a play on him, he'll blow you up. As No Man eats the shockwave from Chovy in the mid lane, returns the favor with his own culling, and the ulti trades. Oh my goodness, No Man's, that turret shot was not welcome.
Ooh, nice little satchel there. You can see Gadget is very good at trying to look for those setups. We've seen the hook into the satchel knocking in the Lulu. Now as Deft steps forward, you're knocking him back. So you can try to look for those trades. It's also a guaranteed way to stack up your mana flow band, which is always nice on Ziggs. Every time the mana flow band proc is ready, you can just hit them with a satchel, and it's pretty much point and click. There's no real way to avoid that. So makes it a guaranteed way to get that extra flat mana and get towards the full stacks where you can then have that additional mana regen.
I like the fact that the Gadget tried to make the nice little cheeky steal attempt on the blue there, but it's not going to do much of anything. Kyoshi did have the damage to make sure they secured that. Ananasic, though, in the top side here, grabbing the Rift Herald. That eyeball will be picked up. The Unicorns of Love have secured the objective all the way this time around. And they're moving towards the mid lane. Yoshik is hanging around here. Oh, over the wall they go. Nice play onto the enemy jungler. Yoshik is down.
It looks like Chovy's backing up quickly enough, but at the very least you can zone him off. If you can get a turret plate down or two, you can actually drop Herald. I wouldn't mind seeing them, you know, try to play through No Man's, try to speed up his itemization in this game. He is going towards the tier build again.
Right.
But you know, he's doing a lot better, it feels like, in the 1v1. You know, he was very far down on Knight, so he also is not going towards the Hex Drinker in this matchup. The Orianna not as threatening for that 100-0 style of play. So skipping the Hex Drinker straight towards the the tier and will be able to complete that a lot earlier than we saw last game.
Exactly right. The Hex Drinker difference could mean a lot as we move forward here, just about at the 10-minute mark with an even game between the teams in terms of gold. Santos down here does take a lot of damage from Def's Caitlyn, and you can see that Caitlyn continuing to build these CS leads up further and further. You talked about it in the draft. Caitlyn versus mages, the power of the ranged punish combined with what you mentioned in the previous game about how you tax the mana, make it more difficult for the opponent to farm, it just leads to a situation where the Caitlyn is naturally going to get stronger and stronger. So Def's Caitlyn could be a big issue moving forward here as Gadget face checks the brush, and here comes the follow-up. Keria ends up taking a kill, and Gadget's in the ground. DRX are finally on the board.
Nicely done by DRX, and yes, the Lulu took the kill, but honestly, I'd rather have that happen than have Def have to spend his summoners, because now he maintains the summoner advantage. He's not really at risk of getting ganked or punished here. And they are looking for some damage on a No Man's.
Ooh, flash for flash. Very, very heads up there from No Man's, making sure he gets out. But meanwhile, bottom side, it's a 1-for-1 trade. Keria does end up sacrificing himself here as Deft looks for the play onto Ananasik. He flashes away.
Passive.
But the Dream Dust is burning him away. Deft fires off the Piltover Peacemaker. Oh my goodness, they're both so close to dead. I can't even make any more damage. He jumps, he shot the deer with their shotgun and he gets the kill. The bomb flies through and Caitlyn barely sidesteps it to stay alive.
No, Def barely surviving there, as you say. UOL not able to get one back. They were holding on, it felt like, so well. But that face check from Gadget started a bit of a spiral. And now, just like that, down 1,500 gold. The Stormrazor is completed off the back of that play, getting a kill, a couple assists, is Deft. He is now put very far ahead in this game. You can go in, but I don't know if you want it.
Santa's just missing a few of these pretty big dredge lines, but oh well. I mean, it's not like they're Camp Morna play that was never going to be, so Santos misses out on a little bit of an opportunity there, but no big deal. He will help No Man's push this out forward. Considering the help of the Graves was nearby, it's not like they were really going to look for a lot there on a pick with the Orianna anyway, as that Herald does still have about half the timer remaining, is summoned up here. Now, Ananasik just looking to make sure they get some of that plate money. DRX with 3 men in the mid lane trying to prevent any extra damage from this. Oh my goodness, they're not even going to get the charge.
He waited until the wave was already gone and gave them so much time to set up.
Not good as Ornn joins the fight. Now both teams are bringing in everybody, and Ananasik's already dead. The charge coming forward from Doran, making sure to frontline here for his team, is the difference maker. Getting in there, getting them the 1-for-0. And all of a sudden, Isaac, this game is a 2,000 gold lead for DRX.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse because, I mean, you roamed all those people mid to make this play where the Rift Herald didn't even get a charge. And Deft is just chilling bot lane, farming, taking another play. He's up 30 CS now at this point, and that was just a lot of hesitation from Ananasik. He wasn't sure if he wanted to drop it. He waited until that first plate had already been knocked down. Then all the minions were gone, and there wasn't really any threat of an engage from UOL onto the DRX members, so they just stepped forward and got so much damage down on the Herald, it died before getting that charge.
Well done. Well coordinated by DRX, but UOL, I mean, the first game, they end up not being able to pick up the Herald. And then now we reach the point where...
Not the best Herald luck.
Yeah, the Herald's not exactly playing out super phenomenally here for this squad. As, let's see if they're able to stop this attempt at the Drake. Pioshik does have sole control over the pit right now. You can see pings coming out from DRX saying, all right, Pioshik's here, make sure we're able to shadow and protect him. A little bit of help coming in from the Lulu, and it doesn't look like we're going to see any contest for this one as Chovy just expends the shockwave to secure that blue buff before the enemy team is able to contest that one at all. Turret plating going down here in about 30 seconds. Ananasik hanging out to the left. Uses the sleep on Chovy. They're looking for the dive. However, Pioshik's immediately there, dropping the smoke onto No Man's, just blows him up.
Yeah, UOL looking for the play there, but he was so far back when they're going for that drowsy, when they're looking for the sleep, and now Santos, no flash, you are dead too.
Santos stuck in the middle of four
it's all
people.
falling apart.
It's quickly just disintegrating here for the Unicorns of Love. Def looking for the ace, and the whole nice interrupt on that one. from Gadget. However, the ace in the hole should be ready again here in just a moment. Yup, only gets a 10-second cooldown if you interrupt it during the channel.
Lulu are behind you, so push it in, easy dive.
Top side, Dorian's just absorbing the pressure. Lilia and Camille together don't have enough gas in the tank to take him down. Deft just facilitating the push down here, making sure that these minions are removed instantly as soon as they arrive into the lane. Gadget's trying to defend himself. The Gromp will be taken by Pioshik. Santos finally finding himself back in the lane. Means that DRX will be forced to back up a little bit here, but look at Gadget's mana bar, man. He's just doing what he can to clear and nothing more because he doesn't have the chance to do anything else. Ananasic right back into the Rift Herald pit, looking for the second Shelly. Boss is here to help him, because even though they weren't able to get that kill on Doran, they still have complete control over this top side window.
Yep, and they'll have another shot at dropping that Herald. They won't be able to get plates, but they may be able to get a tower for themselves, so we'll see if they can cash in there. Well handled, though, by Gadget, all things considered, to actually avoid getting dove out. I think he used the ultimate to clear out the wave. So, Def was trying to push in the wave. They have the Lulu and Graves behind you. If the minions get to the tower, it just lights out. You're dead. But without those minions there, was able to survive, pick up as much of that farm as possible. But again, Deft is insanely strong. He has the Lulu to back him up. He has the Ornn in front of him, the Orianna for the shielding. And you're on 2 items at 15 minutes as a Caitlyn, so it becomes so incredibly difficult to deal with this guy because he has the support to actually be protected from the engage.
Oh, here we go. Ornhorn summoned up. However, the root goes through on Dorian, and he cannot cast the second part of the ulti. Now trying to get away from the counterattack from UOL. Flashing over the wall to escape the hook shot from Boss. DRX. 5 men in the mid lane, still looking to keep the push ready to go. Dorian is half HP, but he's hanging off to the side. Just making sure he's there in case they try to engage on his squad. Level 11 still needs 2 more levels before we see those ornaments come through. Still commands a 3-wave lead in terms of farm over his opponent. First turret finally falls, and it's Unicorns of Love that take it.
Nicely done by them, utilizing the Ziggs, plus they have those 2 heralds. Get it low, knock it down with a satchel. Ziggs is very strong at sieging these towers. The passive damage on your auto is incredibly high. It's reduced in cooldown by spending out those spells, and if you get it down low, you can finish off with the satchel. They're going for a fight here.
Ananasic nearly killed. However, the Graves now in a bad spot. Pioshik flashing away, and Boss has dived deep looking for the kill. He will not find it. A sliver of health is the difference maker in that one, as Deft finds himself in a 1v2 against Santos and Gadget. He tries to kite away using the traps, sidestepping away from the bombs, avoids the minefield using the blast cone to get out, flashing away from the dredge line, but he gets hit at the very end by the satchel charge, and Gadget will take the shutdown.
Nice shutdown there from UOL on that bottom side, so punishing when they knew it was only Deft down here. If Deft just walked away after the flash out, though, he is free and clear. He stepped back up to continue farming
he was
in the 1v2. Yeah, he was definitely feeling himself, but a little bit too much there, as Gadget just knocks him in with the satchel for the shutdown. So that's something going the way of UOL. It is obviously a very big gold lead here on the side of DRX, and they also have the scaling advantage. So that is why you are so concerned. But at the very least, you will have closed it a little bit after that shutdown.
Yeah, the giant blue mountain ridge.
It's going down ever so slightly.
Yeah, we're into the second highest peak on the mountain ridge now instead of the highest peak. It's still a
no
dangerous
longer at the
situation.
summit. It's a win.
We're slowly working our way down that mountainside here for Unicorns of Love. 25 seconds till the third Drake of the game. It's an Infernal Soul this time around. We have had 3 different souls in 3 different games so far here on day 8 of groups. This Infernal Soul could be big for either side, but considering they're both only at 1 Drake, it's still at least 10 to 15 minutes away for either of them. Unicorns of Love does have control of that bottom side river right now. Doran is up in the top side. Same can be said for Boss. They both have teleports to join a bottom side team fight.
Yep, and positives, I would say, for UOL. The Essence Reaver is completed. That is something going for them. No Man's is further along in his damage itemization than he ever was in that previous game. Yes, the Infernal Soul is still threatening, but at least they don't have to deal with that invulnerable tank like they did last game, having that Ocean Soul on 369. So there are some things working for them. You know, there's always more of a hope to kind of win when you can actually burst them down theoretically, and they do have 2 dragons for themselves. Can look to try to have those combos. We saw it showcased a little bit last game, where you can try to look for Lilia's Sleep, setting up a Ziggs ultimate so you get the wake-up damage plus the guaranteed center bonus damage from that Ziggs ultimate. The problem with this is Keria as well, as we're going to watch Boss die.
Oh no. Yes, we are.
Keria has Mikhails, so he can do the same thing that we saw happen last game, which is just cleanse off that sleep. So Nanasik has to hit multiple members, right? And that's where it gets really difficult, because it's actually Doran who's going to be standing in front of it and blocking up so much of the potential engage.
Defensive ulti from Gadget, clearing out the mid lane wave, trying to stop the turret from falling. And the Demolish doesn't get to proc, so the turret stays alive. Ananasik hanging out to the side, but as soon as that control ward's placed, he has to retreat. Deft is so strong on this Caitlyn. He has that 2-item kneecapper power strike, where the champion just hits you from 800 range away, and all of a sudden you can't walk anymore because of the Stormrazor proc. Just incredible for setting things up as Pyosik finds Santos and half of his health bar immediately even through the shield. The Graves is very scary. Warrior plus the Umbral Glaive already completed, and then in the inventory you can see the parts for the Cleaver.
And the experience is what's so concerning again, right? You know, last game, Ananasik was level 6 to level 8 against that Graves. Now again here in that kind of rematch of those champions, he is down 3 levels. Pyosik is ridiculously strong, has a monstrous CS advantage, as well as being able to get some gold from those turrets up on the top side. And you saw, you know, Boss, who is kind of their split push hope. When he face check that Graves, you just get burst down. You don't really have much of a chance, even in that 1v1.
And talking about the 1v1, level 13 Ornn. 2 items completed. It's no longer fun for the Camille. The Ornn is a level up. It's the scissors versus the giant meatball. It's not going to turn into any kill threat whatsoever. But speaking of kill threat, down here in the bottom, nope. They tried to make the move. They thought they were going to be slick. However, maybe they are. The sleep finds its way through, and Chovy gets blown up. They make a liar out of me. The Unicorns of Love show their horns, and they take the kill.
Nice pick there. We saw that Lilia ultimate plus culling combo coming through onto Chovy, and again, a little bit greedy from these carries on DRX. Deft flashing away from the hook, stepping back forward in that bottom lane to farm, gets killed. Same thing happening here from Chovy. Chovy was kind of out, but he turned around for the fight. Oh, No Man's is caught shopping.
What the hell?
He's
okay,
browsing.
well, he was doing some window shopping, and all of a sudden, here comes through the window a giant Ornn like the Kool-Aid Man, the Thunder God, and just slams him down into the ground.
I mean, Ornn can build items, so he could have thought that was the shopkeeper, you know?
I don't, there was something going on there, Isaac. Ornn just menacingly walked up, blew a horn that's louder than hell. The giant ram came running through the side of the map, and No Man's got caught. So, unfortunately for Unicorns of Love, that gives over some extra gold to their opponents. DRX will manage to take the bottom lane tier 1 turret now, still up almost 4,000 gold. That Ornn does get his first kill of the game, so giving him even more now on top of the 40 CS lead.
Yep, and it looks like with that Kindle Gem, could be a couple options. He could be going the supportive style with the Knight's Vow, but I think a Warmogs here makes a lot of sense. Anytime you are Ornn against a split pusher, you don't actually have to win the 1v1 in the extended fight. All you have to do is build Warmogs and spend your health to clear the minion wave, and then back up to the tower, regen with Warmogs, step forward. And you can kind of do that infinitely against the Camille as long as you don't let the Camille move up to that tower. And,
oh no.
Oh, you're dead.
Speaking of Camille, this is such a feels bad game for Boss. Every single time he tries to go into the jungle, Pyosik is just there waiting, ready to go on this super farmed up Graves. He's got more farm than his mid laner. He's at 214, Chovy's at 210.
He is so strong. I mean, even the levels, right? Now he's 14. He's higher level than anyone on UOL as the jungle, right? And it's not even as though he's just stealing experience from his solo laners, because they're very high level too. This is pretty much taken all from the jungle camps, and pilfering them away from Ananasik has created this enormous experience advantage, this enormous gold lead for him. You know, he is up over 60 CS, you know, at this point, really looking incredibly strong.
Okay, Unicorns of Love, you're gonna have to staunch that bleeding and find yourselves a good fight here. We've seen the Lilia sleeps make some things happen so far, but they've got to be very respectful of that Mikhail's Crucible and its ability to stop it. And now they're going after the Baron. However, DRX is aware of what's going on, and Unicorns of Love have to back away.
Yeah, gonna have to back it up, but worth a try. You can see that Leandry's done now for 2 of the members, and Onisic has that. Gadget has his 2 items. So they do have very good wave clear. If you can not get dove and just continually defend these turrets, you can kind of delay the game quite a lot with Ziggs. Of course, there is dive, there is engage on DRX, and here it goes.
Horn sounded off. Santos is the target. Ziggs ulti able to find its way onto Keria and Def both. TP coming in, but Santos in some trouble. Gonna be taken very low, nearly killed. Boss into the back line, Boss into the ground. X-Tech ultimatum gets him out, but the ace in the hole comes through, will be blocked by No Man's. Doran with the chase, looking for the kills here. Pioshik takes the credit. Such critical health bars on the side of Unicorns of Love. Doran gets himself away, he'll barely stay alive, and DRX is looking to chase down these fleeing players. Gadget has almost no mana whatsoever still left. They will try to kite this one away. Pioshik chases after. Gadget's the first one to fall here. That's the wrong base, bro! Adanasic is trying to get out of there. He's spinning that thing around in a circle. He's fighting some minions. Watch out, there ain't no Eep. That's a sniper rifle. Bambi got hunted by 2 different calibers today, and Deft is taking no mercy. Picking up yet another one for himself. 3, 1, and 4 on this Caitlyn.
Yeah, the hope is getting more and more dim here for UOL as they get wiped off the map by DRX in that team fight and trying to teleport in here to get something done, but Pioshik is so strong still.
No Man's and Boss trying to fight against these guys, but Doran is just eating that whole calling. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Oh, baby, we got ourselves a winner. DRX with the double kill on the jungler. They pick up 3 for free, and now the map is theirs.
On the way to Baron now, you grab the dragon. UOL trying to look for those desperation plays, trying to find a pick back, but DRX are ready for it, and they just TP'd into the waiting arms of DRX, who are now going to add another tower, another Baron. Gadget here trying to look for some sort of a steal. Nanisic does have flash. You've got to try. You've got to try to make something happen.
8,000 gold down, you got no choice. Anonisic and Gadget, what's it going to be? Can they make some sort of a hero move here? Ziggs ulti comes through, Anonisic over the wall, he gets it! The pineapple with the steal!
Let's go, UOL with the Baron steal here. Unfortunately for them, it's just going to keep them alive. It's not going to be that massive turning point just yet because they are so far behind. We got that Red Bull Baron, and if that Baron goes over to DRX, I think the game 100% ends during the Baron. So this was massive for them. And it was actually DRX looking for the zone out play here, but they land the sleep onto Keria. They throw the Ziggs all over top, utilizing the combo there, getting him very low. And Anonisic just runs right through Doran, forgetting the bouncer at the door. He just goes right past him, straight into the club. And he steals the Baron.
And yeah, as soon as he gets into the club, he gets his ass kicked and thrown right back out onto the sidewalk.
But he got to dance with your girl first.
He got in the club, and that's the important part. And now the Red Bull Baron belongs to Unicorns of Love. They will be able to stabilize this game at least for the next 2 minutes. No, it's not going to be a power play that turns around the fate of the game and saves the Unicorns of Love and everything turns into sugar and rainbows and it's wonderful, but they're not dead.
Yeah, I mean, it prevented the end of the game. That was a game-saving play there for UOL, so an incredible steal by Anonisic, him and Gadget creating the space for him to run past Doran and Keria. Stealing that Baron is huge. You never know, with the Baron buff with Ziggs, maybe you can stall it out here. They are looking for a potential pick onto Deft, but it will be tough with Mikhail's available. Deft also has his 3 items. DRX playing a little bit fast and loose, you have to say, this game. Quite a few kind of unforced errors, it feels like, have come out from them.
Yeah.
So they want to try to clean that up a little bit, but they are still in a very commanding position. I mean, Pioshik is level 16. This is just absurd at this point.
He's got an infinity edge.
I mean, he's got the upgraded Black Cleaver. He is so ridiculously strong. 8 kills.
This Graves is just in a spot where as long as he doesn't die to some instant wombo combo burst, he can just do whatever he needs to do. He's got the Lulu behind him. He and Deft walking away. A little bit of damage onto him from the Lilia. Ananasic losing so much health here. Def's auto attacks on this Caitlyn, who also has an Infinity Edge, double Infinity Edge, on the side of DRX, ready to go, locked and loaded.
I mean, he's got Flame Horizon. He's 3 CS away, so he gets one more camp before Anonasik does, which could easily happen. Then he does achieve that Flame Horizon. It's been a while since we've seen it. You know, he is up above the enemy mid laner. You know, he is way above the enemy top laner. Pyosik is just so ridiculously strong, and the lane, really, the Rift is kind of just his kingdom at this point. He can go anywhere he wants, fight anyone he wants. UOL need multiple members to even think about contesting him. And if you face check this Graves, there's really no one on UOL that can survive him at this point.
Yeah, there's also some free power just waiting for DRX the next time they all group up. The Ornn is level 17, which means all ornament upgrades are available. There is one already given to Pyosik, who did just get that Flame Horizon, as you said. The Dorian already has both of his and Pyosik's. There you see the Rabadon's Death Cap now upgraded into the Death Crown for Chovy. And when you look in the inventory of Deft, that Infinity Edge is ready to be upgraded to Molten Edge ASAP as well. The team's sitting on a 9,000 gold lead. The Drakes are still at least tied, so that's another saving grace here for Unicorns of Love. It's not like Infernal Soul is up in 30 seconds. Yes, it's Soul Point. Yes, you probably can't contest it in open ground with a 9,000 gold deficit, but it's still not that Soul, at least, as Anonasik finds his way onto Dorian, but that's not a killable target.
No, it really is not. I think that he was maybe trying to get around behind and actually cut the wave. They're pushing up on that top side, so they're trying to utilize this Ziggs wave clear to hold the lines. The Baron is off the map right now, so they might just give up this next dragon, try to wave clear, try to trade on the opposite side, but no man's, you are in trouble.
Oh man, he's able to find the ulti in the second part as well. Dorian looking for the solo kill on the Lucian. Takes him down to 5% HP, just reminds him whose lane he's in.
Yeah, and he's got the Warmogs, so you give him a couple seconds, he's gonna be right back to full. And here comes DRX on the other side. They're taking the dragon, they're sieging the base, they're defending on the top side. They are running the map right now, and the first inhibitor gonna be dropping here for UOL.
Inhibitor down in bottom lane. Pyosik wasn't even there, so DRX wasn't looking to go all the way for a fight. They only had the 3 players, but they still secured the inhibitor. They got the Drake for themselves, and now it's another minute until Baron spawns. They have complete control over the entirety of Summoner's Rift. You can see Pyosik comfortable to just hang out here by himself. He still has brown boots. This is one of those games where you go back to shop and you got 3,000 gold every time. Flash over the wall from Chovy. Santos with the flash follow-up. Nice pick. Comes out for the side of Unicorns of Love.
That's big for them. Every kill is going to buy them a little bit more time in this game. And, you know, as they get more and more experience, more and more gold, they will have opportunities. I think it's going to be incredibly tough for them, you know, with this next Baron coming up, with the next Infernal coming up, meaning Soul for DRX. That is where UOL likely has to kind of make their mark in this game and look for a fight. But Pyosik,
Oh, no. This has already happened.
I can't believe he doesn't want it.
This has happened like 3 times this game. If this happens again, Ananasik's hanging around nearby. Boss still just content to fight.
Patience of a saint here.
The patience on this man. Just waiting. Just chilling. Having a great time. Okay, here we go. Starting off. Red Smite goes through. Collateral damage comes out. Ornhorn! Nope, not quite, but a flash plus the end of the line. Might be able to pick up another one here on the No Man's. Instead, going to be shut down. Lilia gets the kill onto the Graves, and Ananasik will make that one a 1-for-1. You take those. Any day of the week, any day ending in a Y, you take those if you're able to get rid of that 9 and 2 Graves.
You'll definitely take those, but unfortunately for them, they lose that mid lane turret. Just being chipped away at. Despite the great wave clear here from UOL, Def can just step forward with the rapid fire, with the shields from Lulu, get little bits of chip damage down constantly on these turrets. And despite the fact that Pyosik went down, it was not without a fight. You saw how quickly he almost killed No Man's off, who had the backwards culling there.
Yeah.
Slipping away.
Oh, man. Unicorns of Love. They do have the man advantage on the map here for another 15 seconds. Baron is alive, and DRX has no jungler. Gadget and Ananasik both have a lot of fishing power here with these bombs and
they're on Baron.
Pyosik's
dead.
And Unicorns of Love, I like this call. You're so far behind in this game, you've got to make big calls. You can't just allow your opponents to get back into the game and bring Graves back. This will be Baron number 2 for the side of Unicorns of Love. They get it, and they get out.
This is the closest one-sided game I've ever watched. This is like, they're just hanging on.
Santa's trying to get himself out. Nice CC down onto the Ornn to prevent the second half of the ulti coming through. But now the teleport moves forward. Santos is thrown up into the air here yet again. The shield will protect him a little bit longer, but Carry is there for the follow-up slows. Santos into the Gargoyle Stone Plate, Ziggs with the covering fire, and Unicorns of Love save Private Nautilus.
They are hanging on here, and DRX, you know, you gotta feel like, okay, well, they've still got control. They're still massively ahead. But the further we get into this game, the more a comeback becomes a real possibility. You know, they have been ridiculously ahead for like 15 minutes at least, if not 20 minutes in this game.
Yep.
And they have failed to close it out. You know, they have been playing pretty loose. And this is a game that can matter for them, right? You know, this is a game that if Top wins all the others, you know, even if you beat them at the end of the day, if you have 2 losses and Top only gets the 1, you're still in second place. So this game matters a lot for DRX, and they have got to clean it up, close out this game here against UOL, because too many more mistakes, and you never know what can happen.
It's Worlds, baby. Anything can happen as the Caitlyn is at 5.5 items. The Graves is at 6 items. The last item he has to upgrade is the boot. He probably won't even upgrade it. He just sells it and buys another crit item. As DRX looking for Ananasik here in the mid lane. That's the damage you need. Deft with the ace in the hole. Line him up, knock him down. Not quite, but it's Caitlyn against the Zhonya's. Just put the cupcake underneath the golden statue. Walk away with your free win. DRX pushing down the mid lane. Now they've got the 5v4. Baron power play still up for another 70 seconds, but having that man disadvantage will probably prove to be too much anyway.
Oh, Ziggs, you were too far out there. He could actually just get caught.
Pioshik's on the way. He's got the Lulu speed buff. He knows what his mission is. He has no hard CC to interrupt it.
Oh, there was the Ziggs there a second ago.
The hard
Who needs hard CC
yeah.
when you can one-shot him?
Yeah, just shoot him twice.
That's what I always say.
Okay, well, couldn't even finish the sentence in time, and now it looks like DRX will be able to finish the game. Santos tries to get out, but a shockwave seals his fate on the steps of the fountain. DRX with the 5-man push, looking to end this game. It was a valiant effort from the Unicorns of Love. They stabilized for an incredibly long time, but the pick on Ananasik in the mid lane, into the follow-up in that bottom side there, the power of the Pioshik Graves means DRX take the win.
Yeah, UOL with the heroics, they made them work for it, made the game last so much longer than you were thinking. The big Baron steal from Ananasik, plus the pick onto Pioshik and the second Baron. But after that, it felt like playtime was over. DRX grouping up and looking determined to close that game out. They did not want to mess around and risk throwing that game. So, able to get the win here against UOL. Who's still searching for that first win. Probably the best shot for them is going to be against FlyQuest later on in the day. But it does feel, yeah, it does feel like Dragon X and TES, they kind of have that date with Destiny in the final game of the day. Going to be battling very likely for that first seed.
Right. As long as Top Esports takes down FlyQuest, a matchup that they are heavily favored in, that means that final game of the day will be the decider for first seed versus second seed between Top and DRX.